know how many Democrats in the country are feeling what I'm feeling or what you might be feeling, but I would not like to be associated with cowardly politicians, and all I see is wall-to-wall cowardice.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So look, maybe we'll even ask you a question about it in a sec. And we're going to show you clips of Joe Biden, being a disaster again. So, but first of all, the most important part is that they met today, the Congress. The Democrats in the House and the Senate met, and they basically decided to bow their heads. And so what happened was Biden called their bluff, and he said, yeah, I'm all in. I'm staying in the race. Now what are you gonna do? Now if you say negative things about me, even though I'm obviously gonna lose and I clearly have giant mental health issues, if you say anything against me, I'm gonna blame you for the loss. And I'm gonna say that, I would have won if it wasn't for you guys. And all the Democrats, like not all, but 99% of them, no courage at all, just folded like a house of cards. Like, okay, sir, yes, sir, we'll all lose on behalf of you, sir. They're gonna get annihilated in congressional elections.
The reality of the moment is that the Young Turks is struggling right now, which is why they have all those ads in their videos. They're running a business. In order to be successful, they need to maximize engagement. So that is probably the reason for their one-dimensional analysis. There is a large audience for people who are upset with the Democrats, who have been betrayed by the Democrats. This is why right-wing media does so well, one of the many reasons why. And this is why you have a faction in the left-wing media that's sort of somehow mysteriously ending up with a very right-leaning audience while talking about they're the real left, right? But here's the reality. The stuff that the Young Turks is talking about is absolutely valid. There is this insane sort of seniority thing where, for example, the idea of trying to push out Pelosi, how dare you? No one else can do the job that she does. The idea of running against Joe Biden from the beginning of this election was like, how dare you run against our incumbent? There is an elite structure behind the Democrats, which, it's potentially dangerous to challenge. So there is sort of a fall in line mentality, right? However, you got to have a little bit more depth to your analysis than the one-dimensional analysis where you just quickly jump to the low-hanging fruit, which is, Democrats and elite, this and that, all things that are valid. But you've got to sort of, there's context, right? You got to look at where we're at and what's happening right now, and in that context, you provide your critique and commentary. So if they were talking about this stuff during the beginning of the primary, sure, 100%. Good job for being on the left and calling out the Democrats. I mean, that's the only party that you have. The Democrats are definitely not a real left-wing party. I mean, they're not a right-wing party, but they're more of a centrist party in my view. But they're all you got if you're on the left. So the idea of calling them out, kudos to you in the beginning of the primary months and months and months and months ago. However, in the context of a few months before an election, where the only way that they can win requires them to be, their strategy needs to be on point. This is no time for games, no time to be fumbling the ball. So what does that mean? Again, time is against you. So everything you do must take that into consideration in terms of you need to act fast. You need to act correctly, right? You don't want to move quickly in the wrong direction, but you need to act very, very quickly. Time is not on your side. With that being said, as a person who, unlike the Young Turks, who's not a registered Democrat, so I don't just attack the Democrats, which I do many times. I don't just attack them online for content. I legitimately have a serious problem with them. In fact, I've been battling with my Democratic mayor many, many times. We've gone head to head. He does not like me, I'm sure, right? So I am definitely not a Democrat apologist. I'm definitely not part of no blue MAGA, right? Because again, I am aggressively against the Democrats and what they stand for. I think they're corrupt, I think they're liars, I think they're frauds, and I think a lot of the critiques that the Young Turks are making about them right now are correct. But in the current context of what's happening, because again, politics is not just one-dimensional, I think they're very, very wrong. Because here's the reality. Again, with time of essence, this means that the Democrats need to identify who their candidate is going to be, and they need to, yes, fall in line and support that candidate. There is no way that they can win if they do otherwise. The idea of you trying to talk to your audience, Young Turks, and talking about, how dangerous it is, threat to democracy, and how are you gonna risk, Donald Trump winning with this weak candidate, whatever, all that kind of stuff, valid concerns. You're gonna say that, but at the same time, you're gonna critique the Democrats for operating in the exact way that you'd want to operate in terms of to win. You've got to identify a candidate, and you need to unify behind that candidate, right? if they play a lot of time, going back and forth and fighting, and this person wants to run and that person wants to run, and some people say that the candidate should step down and other ones what. Now, I'm not saying don't do that, right? But everything needs to be operated in an expedited manner, which means the time for choosing who the candidate is going to be has ended, essentially. It hasn't ended yet. It needs to be ending like yesterday, right? So that's the first move. Quickly make an assessment, and the assessment should be based on data, not feelings. The data says that all the alternatives statistically irrelevant. I mean, you're going to switch a candidate to get a 1-point advantage or a 2-point advantage at the most, right? And then you're going to lose a lot of points in doing the swap, right? So whatever points you gain, if you're only gaining 1 or 2 points, but you're probably going to lose 1 or 2 points or more from the chaos of swapping the candidate and, overlooking Kamala Harris and all that kind of stuff. You're going to take damage from that. It's not going to be a good look, right? The right-wing media is going to be all over it, just like how you guys are all over them when they, had trouble picking their speaker. They're going to be all over it. It's going to look so bad. You're going to lose points. And it's going to be at least as much points as you potentially could gain, if not more. So the idea of switching candidates to someone who is only a 1 or 2 point, that's, what? But even if they were going to do that, they need to do that now. And whoever it is they identify as the alternative, let's say they go with Kamala. We're going to do Kamala. All right. Then they do need to fall in line, right? That rhetoric of calling them out for falling in line, it's too late for that, man. That was months and months and months ago. At this stage of the game, that's the right tactic. You have to unify. You have to fall in line. There's no way you can win otherwise. If they choose to go with Biden, which the data suggests that's the right move, then they need to all unify behind Biden. They need to not be challenging him and saying this and that and what. All that mess. Again, everything is stacked against them. They don't have the room for any kind of drag. And that's all this is drag. The fighting and the back and forth and should he step down, should he not step down? The Democrats having meetings and trying to discuss and will he or won't he step down? That's not a good look. It looks like chaos. How does it look to the voters? Compare what's happening now to how it would look if the Democratic Party was united under Joe Biden, pushing straight forward ahead, right? Yes, the media are going to still be saying what they're saying, but the party would look unified. The party would look like, they're doing whatever they're doing. I mean, you may not agree with it, but at least have a plan and they're going with their plan. Right now, what's the plan? Is it Biden? Is it not Biden? Is Biden going to step down? Are a bunch of Democrats tomorrow going to ask him to step down? Are they going to force him down? Is Biden going to... Listen, the only way to win is Biden needs to ignore all the negatives, pretend like everything's good, keep saying exactly what he's doing, right? Just be like, yeah, we're going to win, right? Exude confidence, right? Again, whatever path they take, they need to go all in on that path. If it's going to be Biden, then that's how it needs to look. If it's going to be somebody else, it needs to look the same way with that. If it's going to be Kamala, everybody need to be behind Kamala or fall in line. That is the only way. There is no other way. You cannot win through chaos. And this back and forth and this and that and this, like people saying, listen, and again, it's not that I disagree with what they're saying. Biden probably is delusional. He probably doesn't recognize how bad things are, right? That could be very well true, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even if he's being delusional, what he's doing is what he should be doing, right? And again, it depends on the path, right? Because you would say what he should be doing is stepping down and getting somebody else. Again, if he's going to do that, then do that, and he needs to be all in. Right? No negative talk, whatever, all in behind whoever the person is going to be. If he's going to be the one to stay in, then this is how it needs to look. Confidence, just throw, people, they throwing stuff at you. You just, everything's fine. We're going to win. And look at the record. Look at what we've done. We're going to continue for American people. Bang, bang, bang. All the people behind them. Like, it's funny. The very thing that they have done before, that the Young Turks has rightly criticized them for, is exactly what's required in this moment. In this moment, unity is required. Unity is the only path. Unify against an alternative, or unify unified behind an alternative or unify behind Biden. Minimize the noise to an extreme degree. We don't have no space for no noise, no drag, no drama. It needs to be all in, 100%. This is what we're doing. You need to commit, right? So even if they commit for the wrong reasons, even if it's true that, this is an elite thing or whatever, even if that's true, right? It doesn't matter because this is the time for exactly that, right? Because if you don't do that, you're definitely going to lose. So if you really think this is the end of democracy and Trump's going to do it, if you think all that stuff, then the only way to avoid that is through falling in line. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.